Tired, I arrived back home with Grandpa. That was the most exhausting and strange morning of my life. I just want to do nothing for a bit. But as I head for my room, Lufan notices me and runs up to me. Let's resolve this first. Biyu, are you alright? Sort of. You know what happened? The other guests told me they saw you walking around with a sword. Did he really let you fight the monsters in the shrine? He did. An uncomfortable silence lingers in the air. I'll talk to him and make sure it doesn't happen again. Good. But wait, doesn't that mean you'll be the one doing it instead? Even if you did it in the past, in your current state, it'll be dangerous. Your grandfather will be there, won't he? And I have to learn it again at some point. It's my duty after all. Just as your work lies with Senrei, this is my responsibility. I'm still worried, but for now I nod in agreement. We each have our responsibilities to the gods we serve. Senrei. The Senrei I've met couldn't be more different than the ones in the stories Grandpa told me yesterday. I don't know if there's still a trace of the old Senrei in there, or if this is all that's left, but it's my responsibility to find out. I bid Lufan goodbye and spend the rest of the day doing small tasks around the shrine. My real duty begins at night. With more experience by now, I descend to the underground room for the third time. As expected, Senrei is sitting in the exact same position he was sitting in when we first met. I give him a good stare, wondering if he's actually doing some secret godly activity. Sadly, my only clues are the strange lights floating around his room. There are more than last time. Perhaps lights is the wrong word. Though they all give off some light, most of it is pitch black. However, there is one white light floating around. I wonder what they are. When I glance at Senrei, I jump slightly to see him looking back at me. His gaze rests on my sword for just a moment before he looks me in the eyes. Why are you spying on me? As if to deny that fact, I quickly step out of my hiding place and walk up to him. I was just wondering what you were doing. Does it have to do with those orbs? Orbs? He follows my eyes. Oh, the prayers. When there are many prayers and the emotion they carry is very strong, they become visible. They can be dismissed, but when they keep coming... He sighs annoyed. Prayers? Why are most of them black? Because people are fools. And now the answer I'll understand? I keep staring at him silently for elaboration. Although annoyed, he soon gives in. Their color depends on the emotion people pour into their prayers. Black represents hate. My eyes widen as I stare at all the black orbs in the room. I wonder what it's like to be filled in a room with... I wonder what it's like to be in a room filled with hate towards you for such a long time. Maybe that's why he's always in such a bad mood. And what about the white prayer then? What does the white prayer mean then? It stands for hope. Oh! I think that's my grandfather's prayer. Like I said, I'm your follower. I can't say I like you, but my grandpa's always respected you. He told me you were a kind and generous god. He looks at the white light. Then why don't you free me? Why doesn't he try to free me? I can't tell him I'm trying to understand him first. If I do that, he might just act nicer to convince me. I'm sorry, Senrei. Of course you are. But I'll keep you company, okay? What for? Liking you or not aside, I can't imagine it's fun being locked up in here. You're strange, but fine, if you want to bore yourself that badly. Then let's talk. Not interested. I can't help but let out an irritated sigh. This guy... There's nothing you're interested in? Not really. From what I've deducted, humans and gods are still the same. And the ones who started praying to you? Were they fools too? I seem to have hit a note there, as he doesn't respond immediately. Well? Maybe. Perhaps I should tell you the story, Biyu. I sit and listen intently. It isn't what I had in mind, but everything that makes him open up a little more is a good thing. Before I came to this village, there were many gods who were overstepping their bounds. I wandered around disgusted, in search of a place where I could find an answer on how to stop it. It was then that I met a youth who also had a healthy dislike for gods, and challenged me to a duel to stay away from his village. So, what happened? Did you become friends? I beat him to within an inch of his life. Ouch. You're so nice. Don't give me that look. Even if I was low on followers, I was still a god. His sword wouldn't have been able to harm me, let alone him beating me. Throwing your life away by picking impossible fights, instead of trying to do something useful, irked me. I thought that was the end of our little saga, but after a month or two, he managed to find me again. He was barely recovered, yet he wished to fight me again. And did you beat him to a pulp again? A little less this time. I didn't want to permanently harm the fool, and his injuries made it difficult to prevent. However, it was getting annoying, so I asked him why he would be foolish enough to challenge a god twice in a row. It turned out that he was the head of another god's religion, one that asked a lot of prayer and sacrifices from its followers. He had hoped to provoke me into a battle with his own god, prepared for death, knowing it was the only way to directly strike back at him. Feeling some pity, I decided to help him out. I guess back then, I did consider him a friend. We talked about the gods and their ways, discussed how we could help out other humans to stand on their own, and I even taught him some real swordplay to prevent him from getting harmed. They were good times, but good times end far too quickly. After we managed to defeat the god terrorizing the village, it was the beginning of the end. How did it end? What happened to your friend? How all my stories end. He betrayed me too. Now, I want you to go. You need sleep, and you've made me recall some unpleasant memories. Some unpleasant memories I'd wish to forget. Wishing not to undo the progress I've made, I let him be and head back to my room. I remember the hateful prayers in his room, and the way he ended his story. I'm still not sure why he cursed us with the mist, but I feel that if I can get him to open up a little more, perhaps he'll stop the mist. No. Even if he continues, I want to at least understand him. That is the least I owe him for being his follower. He has lost his way. I tiptoe back to my room absent-mindedly. No one should be awake at this hour anyway. Biyu! Oh, wait. Shh, not that loud. You'll wake everyone up. But, why are you awake? The monsters will harm you, and you were awake yesterday too. Something's wrong here. Oh yeah, I told him that, didn't I? But didn't you tell me the monsters attacked you in your sleep? I can't let my guests be bothered by such impolite monsters, so I asked Grandpa for some special combat lessons and went for some patrolling action. It's close enough to the truth, just the wrong shrine. Is that why you're carrying the sword? What a strange sword it is. I remember Senrei also looking at it, despite it looking normal enough. And I'm sure something is up with it. Well, it works well enough against monsters, so should one trouble you, come to me, okay? Maru seems to hesitate for a moment before finally shaking no. You're too nice, Biyu. You won't cut him down, and that means you'll just get hurt. And with that, Maru leaves. Groggily, I wake up. I overslept again, didn't I? So much to think about, though I can't really help it. Getting up, I take a careful look at my door. To my surprise, it's devoid of notes and sharp objects this time. However, I suddenly feel a chill running down my spine and dress myself as quickly as possible. Surely he wouldn't. Biyu, so you've finally awoken. I knew it. Grandpa would never let me get away with it. You are shaming our very ancestors with your behavior. Appropriate punishments are in order. I'm sure the ancestors are lenient enough to forgive me for oversleeping a few times. I try not to groan at what's to come. If it were my decision, I would take you up to the shrine on the hill every morning to fight off the monsters. However, Liufan has convinced me that it's his duty to his god, and I respect his wishes in this regard. Therefore, I shall have to reduce it to the following. For a month, you will do the groceries on your own. Oh, thank you, Liufan, you've truly saved me here. And each day, you shall do the whole appreciation ritual to ask Senrei for forgiveness in regards for your behavior, starting now. Without time to protest, Grandpa drags me to the ceremony room. Upon entering the room, Grandpa helps me with the few preparations we need to make. I take the ceremonial staff from the wall and inspect it carefully. Let's see if it's still in good condition. The staff is nothing more than a fancy stick with some decorative paper hanging from the tip, but Grandpa makes me call it a staff. However, since it's surprisingly heavy, it still tires me out when I have to swing it around. I remember I had to hold it with both my hands first, but after a while I could manage with just one hand. Normally the whole appreciation ritual is done only once a week, to pay our respects to Senrei. Grandpa overlooks the people watching, while I do the hard work and strike the bell at the end of the ritual. It's pretty exhausting, but I've gotten used to it after so many years. I would dare say I'm even quite good at it now. What it is? Perhaps you could call it a dance. Standing in front of Grandpa, I take a deep breath and relax my body. Being all tense will bother my movements. Begin. As soon as Grandpa speaks, I begin the ceremony by placing my feet far apart from each other and keeping a somewhat straight but ready position. My arm moves ever so slightly, tilting my staff, and I start the dance. Sliding my feet as I move, my heels never leave the floor and my feet remain apart from one another. I swing. I step to my left, I step to my right, and I swing again. From low positions, from high positions, some slow, some fast. The movements are like second nature to me, so I don't even have to think when I'm doing this. I wonder if Senrei cares what I'm doing here, or even notices it for that matter. Making a thrust forward, something seems strange. It's as if the movement seems extra familiar somehow. I make another thrust, the tip of my staff on head height, before thrusting forward one final time. No one else has done the ritual in a long time, so that can't be it. I take a few more swings, deep in thought. I notice my movement's getting muddled, so I let it go for now. After a while, I start whispering a soft mantra, the same one I used today. The softly glowing seals appear, and I make them follow my thrusts and swings. In perfect unison, we reach the starting point again, after which I let them vanish. I feel calm and rested, despite the exercise, as I walk over to the bell and chime it. The ritual has ended. Good job, Biyu. That was a fine performance. You're not the little girl anymore who keeps dropping her staff. Grandpa is praising me and smiling. Yesterday, too. I'm not used to it. I guess, though you couldn't blame me for it. Who thought letting a kid hold a heavy object for a long time was a good idea? That's just mean. It builds character. I shrug, but Grandpa keeps smiling. He's been smiling so much lately, it's a bit scary. Now, since our new guest arrived, we've been short on stock, so go into the village and get these items. He hands me a very long list with groceries and other daily needs written down on it. Wait a second. Why didn't you tell me yesterday when we passed through town? Together we could have easily brought it with us. I forget things. Age is getting to me. Now hurry up, because I need all those items. Or do you mean you planned this punishment yesterday already? I sigh and start running. Stupid Grandpa, he never changes.